All right, everybody. Scott Pierce here at Listings to Leads. Welcome to the call today. And we're going to be talking about follow-up and AI text, email, getting it to your CRM, whatever you want to do. But I thought before I got started, who here wants to get a come list me call? And who wants to get listings signed just over phone and email and text message? So our clients who are involved in our expired 30-day challenge are actually doing just that. One client's got 4 listings in 6 weeks. Another client has got almost $2 million in the pipeline, all from participating in our 30-day expired challenge. And it's not really so much about how many listings can you get in the next 30 days, although that's going to be fabulous. But what it really is setting everybody up for January 1st, 2026, when hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of expireds are going to hit the market. And the way we do it is unlike anybody else. We're not a one-trick pony, right? Some of these trainers and coaches are talking about you got to mail. Some of them talk about calling. We do a little bit of everything because the way we do it can actually result in literally a come list me call and not take 6 months or 3 hours a day of handwriting envelopes, right? Burning your hand and your arm off. It sounds great. Yeah, you got to handwrite 1,000,000 envelopes. Okay, wonderful. But how many of you are going to actually do that? And then who wants to wait 6 months? Who wants to wait 4 months for results? We want results in a week or two. And our clients that are involved with this are actually doing that. And this is from this morning. Let me play this. Let me know if you can hear this. And make sure, and Troy says, there appears to be something happening with the signal. It repeats sometimes. Oh, I'm sorry. Everybody hear me okay? Are we good to go? Can you go ahead and type in that we're good? Either say I'm good or I've got problems. And if you got problems, I'm not sure if I can help you with all of your problems, but I can help you with some. All right, Linda. Linda, I haven't seen you in the group. I know you ordered some of those booklets. And Tina, all right, Tina, I'm actually playing this video. And later on, Tina, if you could come in here. And what I was wondering, Tina, is did you send them the general flip book or did you create one for them specifically? I was wondering about that. Tina, you made this comment here this morning in our call, and I was distracted doing something else as you were talking, and it was phenomenal. And it was literally about an hour ago. I was like, wait, Tina said that she got a come list me call, and I had to go back and play it because I completely forgot about it. Because again, I was just so busy. I think Jamel or somebody was asking me I was working on something as you and I were talking while we were in the group this morning, Tina. So that was funny, but I thought I would play it real quickly. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear it from my microphone or from my computer, but I'm going to play this video. It's 30 seconds long. Let me know if you can hear it. Okay, it's in our mastermind group. So if you are a client, get to the mastermind group and you'll be able to see that video. But essentially she said, it's the first part of the comment was awesome. She says, I woke up this morning to a message from a seller who said she wants me to come list her home. Wow. And Tina in here said that she sent a text message with the flip book. So I'm going to show you. All right, get yourselves over to listingstoleads.com. And when you log in, you are going to, excuse me, I meant to be here. So when you log in, you're going to see an announcements right here, announcements, daily 30-day challenge, live call sign up. So we got the 4 p.m. coming up. You can click here and you can get to the challenge, and you can also click here. And that's the 7 a.m. call. We do it every weekday. So we're not doing it on the weekends, but we do every weekday. And you can join us and I'll talk more about that this afternoon. And if you are a client, you can request access to the challenge group. So I'll put that link in a little bit later. And then there's another client here, Rob, from earlier in the week, who very similar. He sent email, and he sent the Zillow link. So this is a great email. And in fact, in the mastermind group, I walked through how to take this, drop it into Chat GPT, and create the most beautiful version of that photo. And I think it's really interesting, and we'll get on topic. Give me a minute here, because I'm sure a lot of people would like to hear this. But when you send people the Zillow link as part of the email, they look at this and they're just not impressed, right? It's just, okay, whatever. They're going to think that's probably what their agent did without saying anything. And then this is the 100-point home marketing plan video from Listings to Leads. That's in your Listings to Leads account. Again, in the mastermind group, I just made a post on this morning. And then he sent the flip book. So this is the flip book. So this is similar to what Tina sent. And we've also got hard copies you can get a hold of. And in fact, another client who said they were Cindy yesterday, another member of our expired challenge contacted an expired. He's already leased out the property. All right. So he's already leased out the property, but he said he'll definitely get with her when the lease is up. And, there's something about having other homes. And Cindy said, "Oh, how many other homes do you have?" 20. He's got 20 other homes and he wants to sell some of them. And so and Cindy, if you're on the call, if you're not, I'm going to mention this in the group tonight. But what I would do, I would send that guy 5 copies of the custom expired marketing plan, where you're using his home throughout the book, throughout the presentation booklet. Because here's the deal. Anyone that owns 20 homes knows other people that are investors and landlords and things like that, the whole tired landlord thing. And so what I would do, I would create, and we go over this in the challenge group all the time. You can get in there and we walk through it. I would create this for his specific property, and I would print up 5 copies, and I would mail it to him in a really nice envelope with a nice cover letter, right? Reflecting your conversation, thanking him for taking his time, and just mention, I'm including some extra copies of my expired marketing plan in case you know anybody else that would like help that you could share this with. That is going to rock your 2026, and it's going to probably bleed into 2027, 2028, because these people, all right, when they own 20 homes, they know a lot of other people. And when you can get this presentation booklet in front of them, you are going to absolutely rock their world, because he was obviously already impressed with Cindy by having this conversation. She told him about the marketing plan. So that's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And Troy Richard said, "I heard you, but not the audio." Yeah, Troy, that's fine. That video is in our mastermind group. So I'll show you how to get to the mastermind group here in a little bit. For everyone, once I clicked on the screen, I could hear Scott. Perfect. Awesome. Yep. And Cheryl, you're good now, right? And Brenda, everybody can hear me talking. It was just a video you couldn't hear, I'm going to assume. So our clients are having phenomenal success, and we're just getting started. This 30-day challenge is actually going to go on through at least February, where every morning at 7 o'clock in the Pacific, 10 o'clock East Coast, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. East Coast, we do about a 30 to 45-minute call. We review all the kind of basics. I take questions from people. I chastise you to why are you not making a couple of phone calls a day. This is not something where I want you to go out and do 100 letters a day or 100 phone calls a day or 3 hours a day. You don't have to do that, because when you do it the way we talk about it, it's something where you can do in 30 to 60 minutes a day, and the results are phenomenal. All right. The results are phenomenal. And for any of you, I'll talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it too much here in this call, but we've got a 30-day free trial link with My Plus Leads. And if you are part of our group and you take advantage of our affiliate link, you can then ask them. You have to ask them separately, but say, I'm with the Listings to Leads expired challenge. and ask them for 6 months of data, because in a free trial with My Plus Leads, you normally only get 30 days. And we want to be able to target expireds. And you can do this with FSBOs. You can do this with regular homeowners. But expireds are really the biggest group of people that want to sell their home. And so with the way we're going after them, with text message, with calls, we got voicemails that are better than anything else out there. Nobody picks up. Who picks up the phone nowadays? So we got voicemail scripts, phone scripts, text scripts, emails, door knocking, door dropping, mailing. And again, we got different kind of stratuses of listings. And so we go through all of that. Anyways, I want you to join us because I want you to have the best end of the year. So we're going to be talking about right now, though, is generating leads and engagement and follow-up and things like that. First of all, if you got Lofty, Sierra, Follow Up Boss, you can go to your Listings to Leads account, go to your profile. Let me just show you real quickly here. If you go to the profile, bottom left. Yep. Yes. AI follow-up. I'll be mentioning that as well. I got some screenshots. So if you come over to this tab called CRM integration, all right, boom, get it into your CRM, whatever it is. We've also got API Nation. So if that might be something you need or want. And we've also got Zapier. If you're using Go High Level, a lot of people use Go High Level. Pretty complicated, but it's there. But regardless, it's called Lead Connector. So if you're using Go High Level, you want to connect with Zapier Lead Connector. Boom, you're good to go. But in Listings to Leads, we have AI text follow-up, we've got email follow-up, and then we're going to just talk about follow-up in general. Now, here's the thing. Let me bring over. Yes. Okay, here we go. All right. So there's a couple of chunks in follow-up. One is, for example, if it's a Facebook ad. If you think about follow-up as just a conversation, the conversation though starts with the Facebook ad or whatever, a post or whatever it is. So if we can preload the front end, and I'll explain that a little bit more in a minute. But if we can manipulate, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but if we can manipulate that front end, it'll make the back end a lot easier for us. And by that is, in the Facebook ads, you can ask questions. All right. You can select different questions based on your business, based on the listing, based on what you want to do. And then that way, when you're in the follow-up part of it, when you generate the lead, all right, you get name, you get the email, you get the phone number, and you're going to get a little bit of other information, which is really the critical part of it, right? Having a name, email, and phone number, that's just the mechanism. But what's going to lead to the engagement, all right? Just because I got your phone number, all right, just because I call you up doesn't mean you're going to engage with me. We got to have more. And so these questions that I'm going to walk you through, is that more, all right? What is it that's in it for me, all right? You're calling me about something or other, but if I'm not engaged, if I'm not bought into that, then why am I going to engage with you? And so I'm going to share with you some best practices that are absolutely blowing it up for when you're calling back your leads, how to use that Facebook ad, the questions in the Facebook ad, and then when you follow up, that we make sure that we address their responses to those questions. And this will all make sense in a minute, but I want you to show you here. This is a Facebook lead. I'm sorry. It is a lead notification from a Facebook ad. And I want you to see where, all right, we got name, we got email, we got a phone number, and then these two questions right here. Let me just highlight them for you. The two custom questions that we asked in the ad are, what is your time frame to buy? And see if you qualify for zero down or down payment assistance. Phenomenal. All right. There's a lot of choices. This is just the two that she selected for this ad. So now we know a couple of things. We know their time frame to buy, which is a little bit, don't hold people to that. Sometimes people say they're just dreaming. and they're looking to buy as quickly as possible. They don't know the process. So they put just dreaming because they're first time buyers. Their lease is coming up in a couple of months. They want to start buying it, because I've seen this happen, and they want to buy a place, but in their minds, they're like, we're just dreaming because we're not pre-qualified. We don't know how it works. And so they'll put just dreaming or 12 plus months or 1 to 3. That's just a general idea. So don't take that too literal. But it's that second question. And again, there's so many different questions that we're going to walk through. See if you qualify for zero down or down payment assistance. The answer they put is yes. To this question, 50 to 60% of the time, people put yes to that. So for example, if you're marketing a listing, yours or borrowed, and your lender has zero down payment options, or like zero down loan options to buy that property. If you don't know, I would find out right after this call, even if it's a borrowed listing. So let's say you're going to borrow a listing for $750,000 and you're not sure, right? Are there any zero down programs for a property like this? Call your lender. You may have an in-house lender. You may have another lender. Call them up and say, hey, I've got a listing here that I'm marketing, yours or borrowed, and give them the address, give them the purchase price, because it could be in a USDA location. It could be somewhere else where it qualifies, or it's just in general, it qualifies. A lot of times it's for qualified buyers, but with buyer affordability at an all-time low, this is a phenomenal question for buyers. We got some for sellers that we're going to walk through as well. All right. So this is listings to leads, and you can think of this, and you'll have your CRM if you're sending leads to your CRM. We're going to see those same questions right there. So on the lead detail page, all right, responses from lead ads. What is your time frame to buy? See if you qualify for zero down. Now, I got some examples for the AI text as well. And give me a second. Let me get that out of there. There we go. So I will bring that back up in a little bit. But let's go look at an ad, because really, follow-up starts from the front end. The ad is the first part of follow-up. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense for everybody. So let's go to listings, and the same is going to be true for the landing pages. So whether you're doing what is your home worth, iBuyer, a PDF guide, a listing, a pending listing, a just sold listing, any type of ad you do in listings to leads, the same idea of these questions are going to be a part of that. So I'm going to show you, as I show you these examples, just be aware of this is true for all the different ads in listings to leads. So we're going to just click market listing for this listing right here, Facebook and Instagram ad. And this is not a video on Facebook ads per se, but we'll just roll through it really quickly. So location will autofill, the radius, lifetime budget. I always do 100 a week. 35 is just way too low. It's almost bare minimum for the Facebook algorithm to get you good leads. I like to do about 100 a week. So this next part is the most important part of the whole thing. All right. It's not the most important part, but it's a very critical part. This is where we're going to select the questions that we want to ask, and with the understanding that our follow-up is going to connect with that question. And I hope that makes sense for everybody. All right. If it doesn't, let me know. So click advanced options, and there's a green button, super, super easy, called create new form. So just think of this, the Facebook lead form. And if you don't understand it, don't worry about it. Just watch. It's magic. Under form questions, we're going to open this up, and then right here. So name, email, and phone number are always going to be on. We want that. Don't turn that off. All right. Leave that on. But then you get 2 more questions to ask. Now, very important which ones you ask. And it's up to you. You can play around, try different things. One of them is for the buyers, what is your time frame to buy? All right. I like that one. And I can mouse over the questions and the question mark, and I can see my options. And then if I scroll down, there's a lot of good ones. Let me just pop right here for a second. So see if you qualify for zero down or down payment assistance. That's a great question. I got that one turned on. Another great one, and I always turn it off. When I select another one, I turn the previous one off just so I don't forget. So this question is, would you like a list of price reduced homes for sale? So they click the Facebook ad, the lead form comes up. The first thing they're going to see is what is your time frame to buy? They're going to make a selection. And then in this case, it would say, would you like a list of price reduced homes for sale? And it's going to be yes or no. So how does that connect to your follow-up? Why am I talking so much about this? It is because in my follow-up, I'm going to refer to the fact that they asked for a list of price reduced homes for sale. So in my follow-up, whether it's text, phone, or email, I'm going to say, hey, Cheryl, this is Scott. You clicked on my ad for 123 Main Street in Folsom, California. And I saw that you like to get a list of price reduced homes for sale. Can you let me know what area that you're looking for? I just ask for one piece of information. I don't get into what location, what price range, what features, are you pre-approved? How many kids do you have? Are you married? No, I just ask for one piece of information. And I ask for one piece of information because I want to make it easy for them to engage with me. So I'm not going to launch on them off the bat with a whole litany of questions. I'm going to just ask for one thing, right? Whatever, if you want to ask what price range, ask that question. But I just like, what area are you looking for that list of price reduced homes for sale so that I can get you the best list possible, right? They're going to want that. If they said yes to that, they're going to want that list. Now, you're still going to have to follow up, all right? You're still going to have to follow up with your phone calls. They may not answer the first time. They may not answer the second time. You send a text, you send an email. Over 80% of phone numbers and probably 90% of emails are good emails and good phone numbers. So the key is generating enough leads so that you've got good leads, so you got leads coming in, and so that you got follow-up. All right. So that's the question. There's some other ones in here. Sometimes we get questions from clients because they want a specific question. I may or may not be really keen on using it, but let me show you some other really good ones here. What's changing in your housing needs? Options: we're downsizing to a smaller home, we're upsizing to a larger home, buying my first home, or moving for other reasons. So imagine that's my second question in the Facebook ad, and they say they're downsizing. So now my follow-up is going to reflect that. All right. Hey, Cheryl, this is Scott. You clicked on my ad for 123 Main Street in Folsom, and I saw that you're looking to buy a smaller home and that you're downsizing. That's phenomenal. I can help you. We've helped other people. There's some really great single-story homes with a primary bedroom on the first floor. Are you looking to be in more of a new construction? Is a smaller home key for you? Are you looking for maybe in specific communities? There's a lot of great options out there, and I'd love to help you with that, right? So we're addressing their response. We're offering a solution, and then we're requesting for just a little bit more information back from them. All right. No, you can't ask your own here. Let me put this up so everybody can see. No, you can't you can send it to me. So send it to me or send it to support and we can add them for you. All right. Would you like to be notified when similar listings hit the market? That could be a good question. Now my follow-up is going to be, hey, Cheryl, this is Scott. You clicked on my ad for 123 Main Street in Folsom, California, and I saw that you like to get a list of similar homes when they hit the market. I just want to ask to make sure. So Folsom, this home was $550,000. Are you looking between the $500,000 and $600,000 range? And right, and say I like to keep going. Stop there. Just get that. Make it easy for them to respond to you. All right, and then when they respond, then I can follow up with more. Are you looking for a single story or two story? You're looking for a pool, school district, something that is important to you. Then you can further qualify and add more value. And then the last series of questions are all the same thing. It's just different answers for different buyer types. So notice there's one, two, three, four, five versions of the same question. How can we add our own buyer brochure? We had a link to the ad. There's autoresponders, but yeah, I don't know. Linda, that's not right now something that we want to worry about. All right. I'll show you how you can edit the autoresponders. But for now, sending them a buyer brochure is nice. But first, let's just get through this part. Okay. So here, five versions of the same question. But notice for first time buyers, family move up, downsizing retirement, lifestyle second home, luxury executive. These would be appropriate based on the listing that you're marketing. So if I've got a low end listing, and by low end, I don't mean like low end, I just mean like the lower price point that's more appropriate for a first time home buyer, maybe I use this question because now the replies are all different based on the buyer profile. So these are buyer profile questions, and these can be awesome as well. Because if I use the one for first time buyers, the options that they're going to select from are geared for the first time home buyer. So affordability and low monthly payments, move in ready, low maintenance, proximity to work, right? And again, if I say the thing that's most important for me in my home is proximity to work or commute route. Now in my follow-up, hi Cheryl, this is Scott. You responded to my ad at 123 Main Street in Folsom, California. And I see that you are looking for a home that's close to your work. That's phenomenal. Where do you work at? Where do you work in Sacramento? Do you work in Folsom? And let them respond. Oh, I just got a new job at Aerojet. And so I'm going to be working in Rancho Cordova and we're going to want to live. You would be surprised at some of these responses that you're going to get when you're able to ask them the proper kind of question based on the replies to these questions here. All right. Family move up. All right. Those are the options. And you can come in here later and you can look at all of these for downsizing. So maybe you got a home, single story, 1,200 square feet, obviously primary is on the first floor. Maybe it's in a 55 community or maybe it's not, regardless, but maybe it's a great home for downsizing. Then use this version of the question because now their options are going to be what's most important. I want to be a single story, or I want low maintenance, or I want a golf course. Man, imagine if they say golf course, right? My response to them is going to be, hey, you clicked on my ad for 123 Main Street, Folsom, California, and I saw that you'd love to get a home near a golf course. What's your favorite golf course, right? And if you golf, maybe, that can come into it as well. So that's why I like to show this because follow-up starts on the front end. And the better this is going to sound a little funny. The better the front end, the better the back end. Okay. We're talking lead follow-up. All right. Then we got lifestyle. So if you live in Colorado or Florida, this might be a great one. This is for lifestyle second home buyers. Maybe you're in Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Sarasota, right? I want boating access, close to beach, gated resort community, low maintenance, open concept. And then the last one here is for luxury. So if you're in a $3 million home in Lake Tahoe, this could be a great one, right? I want water, city, or mountain views, modern design, privacy, large outdoor living area, smart home features, convenient location. And then there's all or most of these are most important as well as an option. All right, everybody good on that? Because I'm telling you, I am seeing phenomenal engagement when you pair up the question with the listing with the follow-up. It's beautiful. And again, so if you got a lower, I think again, a mid to lower, or even I think in California where we're at, and I know I've talked to Antonio. I don't know if Antonio's on the call with us today, but Antonio PEA, he's in our mastermind group. I know somebody asked a question about down payment or something, and he came in and was like, he goes, yeah, we got zero down options for any kind of home. Talk to your lender. That could be a phenomenal one. And here's the thing, 30% of all buyers have a home to sell. So once I select my two questions, I'm going to close, click create ad, and we're off and running. Now, there's a lot that you can retarget if you want to. You can do a custom audience if you want to. There's a lot of things that you can do with listings to leads. I cover all of that in our Facebook ad call where we do like an hour of just Facebook ads. And I'll show you an example of what this looks like on live. So let's look at it. This ad that we're going to look at is actually live right now, and you'll be able to see what that looks like. So here's the ad. All right. And you click, what is your time frame to buy? See if you qualify for 0 down. Boom. Now her follow-up to me is going to be, hi, Scott, I saw that you clicked on my ad for the home in Sacramento and that you like to get 0 down and down payment assistance options. That is phenomenal. And then keep going from there. Easy, easy. All right. Let me turn that ad off. Let's take a quick look at the seller one, and then we'll get into the AI. We'll get into the email, but it's the front end of all of this that is the key. So let's take a look at a PDF guide. Let's take a look at downsizing. So we have a downsizing PDF guide. Oh, so downsizing guide for homeowners. What is downsizing? So 2 different versions of it. Marketing tools, because this is for seller leads. Now remember, if you want to get listings, join our expired. Holy cow. You could have a listing in the first couple of 3 weeks, easy, max if you take action. All right. Facebook and Instagram ad. All right. Lead ad. The only difference here, I'm going to add in location because it's not a listing where we got a location. I can change the text. I can change the image. I can use a video right here. But what I want to focus on, you can see I can retarget. I can use custom audiences. But what I want to focus on again is under advanced options. So advanced options, turn it on, click create new form questions. And just like before, it's the same thing, except now these questions are going to be geared towards sellers. So not buyers, but sellers. So still name, email, and phone number. What is your time frame to sell? I always like that. What is your time frame to buy, to sell? I think that's great. Bill, hold that thought for a minute. Now here for the seller, there's some phenomenal ones as well. Would you sell your home? Would you sell in the next 1 to 3 months if you got the right price? Maybe if it was the right price, no, I would not. So what's your follow-up going to be if they said maybe if it was the right price? What would your follow-up be? My follow-up is going to be, hi, Bill, this is Scott, and thank you for downloading my guide on downsizing. And I saw that you would be open to selling your home if you got the right price. We got a lot of buyers for homes in Folsom. I got over 50 myself personally. In our office, we have over 200 buyers, and some of them have been looking for over 6 months. What price are you thinking about? Let them answer. They could say $5 million. They could say 200. I don't care what they say. What I'm going to respond with is phenomenal. When do you have 5 minutes for me to come by to take a look at your house and see if it's something that I may have a buyer that would pay that for your home? I'm trying to get 5 minutes to go over to their home. I'm not going to tell them they're crazy for saying $2 million on a $500,000 home. My goal is just to get over to their home. I would probably take not the expired version, but the standard listing presentation version of this with me, just to say, oh, you know what? While I'm here, why don't I just leave this with you? So, if and when you do think about selling, if one of my buyers doesn't buy this, but thank you for your time. I got what I need. So your goal is just to get there, develop rapport. Again, for bonus points, I would take my printed presentation booklet for my listing presentation, just as a courtesy leave behind. All right. Let's say I go to see how AI can help you sell your home faster for top dollar. That's actually a great question. That's actually a really good question, because now they're thinking about selling their home. And if they say, yes, show me how, the easiest version is the easiest version. One of our clients already got I believe he got the listing almost $1 million. And I know last time I talked to him about a week ago, he said they're pretty close to signing the listing agreement and that they were going to come on after the holidays, right? We're getting close to Thanksgiving. So after the holidays is the biggest thing. But he was pretty close to signing the agreement with them. And I'm going to share with you the thing that he did. And we've got a post in the mastermind group on this. He called them up. They were expired listing. He shared the expired presentation with them. All right. Got over there. The wife actually was the one that was thumbing through the presentation booklet, and she invited him into the house. They sat at the kitchen table. They had a great conversation, and they've been in contact since. And like I said, last week, he told me, he goes, yeah, I think we're going to be signing the listing agreement here pretty soon. And they're going to list after the holidays. Again, it's just that time of year right now. But how he used AI in addition to this, he said, Scott, he goes, they had a beautiful backyard, but it was just plain. All right. It's plain, good sized backyard. And he goes, I told them, when I market your home, I'm going to use AI to show people different use cases for your backyard. I'm going to do a pool. So I'm going to use ChatGPT. We've actually done trainings on this. I'm going to use ChatGPT, and I'm going to put a pool in your backyard. I'll do another photo to show like a barbecue area in the backyard so I can show people, hey, here's the original photo, backyard, beautiful, great and everything. But then here's an AI enhanced version, right? Everything else is the exact same, but there's just now a pool. And so people can now envision all the different possibilities for your home to make it more personal for them. So easy, and it's absolutely free. There's no cost to ChatGPT. I think I pay $20 a month. All right. But any AI program that you have already, I'm sure most of you have one, can do that. And I've shown some amazing examples in the mastermind group. Here's another one. See how my 100+ point marketing plan works for your home. All right. I've now talked to a few different people who said they've got the options for that one are yes, and please customize for my home, not right now. I've talked to a few different people who've had people respond, yes, and please customize for my home. That's amazing, because now I can add their home to my Listings to Leads account. I can create the presentation booklet where every single image in here is of their home. And now in my follow-up, I'm going to call them up and I'm going to say, oh, I'm sorry, let me back up a little bit. If they say yes, and please customize for my home, or just yes in general, you're going to have, what you want to do is call them up. So I'll call up and I'll say, Bill, sorry, let me back up again. So I'll call and say, hey, Bill, Scott here, and thank you for downloading my guide on downsizing. And I just want to follow up and see if you have any questions. And I also saw that you'd like to get a copy of my complete marketing plan to get your home sold. What is your address? And I can either mail it, I can even text it to you if you like, or I can email it to you. Let me know how you like it. Or I can bring it over if you got 5 minutes and I can just walk you through it real quick if you would prefer that. All right. Now, if they say, yes, and please customize for my home, that's the second option. Now you're going to want to make sure that you call them up and say something to the effect of, hi, Bill, this is Scott with XYZ Realty, and you clicked on my ad for downsizing my guide. And I just wanted to call and see if you have any questions on that. And in addition, you requested my custom 100-point home marketing plan for your home. What is your home address so that I can create this guide for your specific home and even your selling time frame, if that's something that you're thinking about right now? All right. Now, because now they're going to want to get this. And the beautiful thing is, you could even tease them with the general one ahead of time, because you got their phone number, you got their email address. I showed you at the beginning of this call right here. This is an email one of our clients sent. Now, this is to an expired lead, but if you got a seller lead that comes in, I would think about sending that to them as well, because the quicker they see this, the quicker you are going to be the agent for them. Because while every other agent has maybe a 10 to 12 point marketing plan, you're coming in with a 100+ point home marketing plan. Does that make sense? So let's say, because leads can be kind of hard to get a hold of. We all know that. Maybe I call 2 or 3 times, they don't answer. I send a text, they don't answer. By the third text, I might just go ahead and send them the flip book, the link to the flip book out of my account so they can at least get a taste of what this looks like. And then I would still offer, would you like me to customize this for your home? All right. Does all this kind of make sense for everybody? If it does, let me know. If it doesn't, let me know. All right. And then let's talk about AI text follow up and email follow up. So let me bring back some screenshots for you. So, Bill, are we good? Linda? And real quickly before we move on, let me just show you briefly because Linda asked about buyer brochure, for example. So, everything has an autoresponder. And if it's for a listing, and you can ask support if it's something different. But if I go to edit, so landing pages, edit, I think the PDF guides are the only thing. They may. I can't. Anyway, regardless, right here, autoresponders under edit and lead ads. So if it was a Facebook ad or autoresponder, the single property websites have the get your home value lead form in them, the open house feedback online version, right? Contact me, schedule a tour. So there's all of these different lead forms in the single property website. So if it's off of an ad, I could use this one and I can put a link. So what I would probably do is, because you don't want to send an attachment through email, it's going to just get clogged up. It'll go to the spam folder. So what I would do is I would upload your buyer brochure into something like Dropbox and then just link to it right from here. So I could put, for example, about the listing address. Do you need to sell? Here's just FYI. Here's the preview of this autoresponder. So that's the preview. And then here's the edit. So if I wanted to, I could also say, for example, some of you in Texas might have to do this. Just whatever. View my buyer brochure. And then just highlight that text. And where it says insert link, just type in or copy in, paste in that link, insert, and now they'll see it, they can click it, and they can view it. Linda, does that make sense? View my buyer brochure right there. How do you get the seller's contact information to send text to reach out to expired? You would use a service like My Plus Leads, RedX. Sometimes your MLS has something called Realist or Forewarn. So there's other programs like that you would use. Yeah. And we cover all of that in our expired training. All right. So let me bring back over let's talk about AI text follow-up first. So this is just an example from a couple of days ago. All right. And this lead has been talked to. They are now in cycle. They're getting pre-approved. They're going to start looking at homes at some point soon. And so the lead came in off of Facebook lead ad, just like the one I showed you, all right? Whether it was a listing, a PDF guide, a landing page. No, I'm sorry, stop. Hold on a second. The AI text right now only works for the listings. What is your home worth landing pages, right? The property valuation plus, and I think down payment assistance. I'll have to post in the mastermind group on that. Let me double check on that. All right. But for now, let's say listings, and then what is your home worth? We're adding it to a bunch of other ones here pretty soon, but for now it's just those two. And so for the listings, it's coming soon, just listed, open house, pending, just sold, active, yours, borrowed. And so this is the AI text. And so this lead, and actually a good example. This lead came in after hours. And so you can see there's a says here, note for agent, conversation started after hours. All right. So the first text went out at 9 a.m. and it said, hi, Cindy, this is Alex, the client coordinator for Ye at American Home Lending. Thank you for requesting information on Would you like one, more information about this property, or two, are you just browsing? And then the lead came back in the green and said, just browsing. The AI text. So if they're just browsing, the AI text is going to try to make a few different offers of value, meaning, would you like a list of price reduced homes for sale? Would you like a different one of our guides? Would you like something else? So we want to try to engage them into getting something from you so that we can connect you with them. So just browsing, understood. Our free 25 insider secret home buying guide is packed with money saving tips. Would you like a copy? And then the lead came back and just said, I'm looking to buy in the next 3 to 6 months. And then she said, sure, to the question. And again, the agent was able to connect with the lead and they are now in conversation. Awesome. Oh, I thought I wanted to show something else. Hold on a second. Yeah, Deb. All right, my gosh, guys. And Deb, I love you, but every Facebook lead ad collects name, email, and phone number. All right. I'll show that back in a minute. But remember when I clicked on advanced options and then I clicked on that green create new form button? All right. And then we went to form questions because we want to manipulate, edit, change those questions. Name, email, and phone number are the first three things you're going to collect always, and never turn those off. If you don't have a name, email, and phone number, you got nothing. Okay. So yeah, name, email, and phone number on a Facebook lead ad is always going to happen. All right. Yeah. Give me a second. I wanted to bring back up the screenshot because a couple of things I want to share with you. For the AI text, and oh my gosh, I hate those things always popping up. There we go. So the AI text, it's actually really cool. And if you've got one, if Lofty's got a thing that you can use, go high level, right? Some are a little complicated to turn on. Ours is so dang easy. Oh my gosh. You can actually literally in listings to leads, when you run an ad, you'll see a message about signing up for it on the ads page, I believe on the listings page. There's a banner across the top, sign up for the AI text. And you literally, I think there's some examples of the conversation and you put in your credit card because it's like $50 a month for 50 conversations. And you just give your AI text assistant a name. You're going to select from a bunch of different names. You'll select the name. Then you're going to say, I want it for buyer leads, seller leads, or both. And that's literally it. You can turn this on in 30 seconds. It's literally that easy. Because I've talked to people, go high level, Lofty. Oh my God. I had a client who uses Lofty, and Lofty's phenomenal, right? A lot of them are. And I was like, why don't you have your AI text turned on yet? He goes, oh my God. He goes, I went to turn it on. I couldn't figure it out, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, whatever. And I've heard go high level is the same thing, right? It can be a nightmare. That might be a little dramatic, but this is drop dead easy to turn this on for you in your listings to leads account. All right. But what I want to say is you generate a lead and you're going to get a lead notification email. And that email is going to look like this. All right. That's just going to let you know, hey, you just generated a lead. Here's the name. Here's the email. Here's the phone number. All right, Deb. All right. That's always going to be there. Here are those two questions that are in the ad. All right. In this case, time frame to buy. Do you want to see if you qualify? Then you're going to get a second email. The second email is going to say, if you got the AI text, the second email is going to say, Yi Gong is now in conversation with your AI assistant, Alex. All right. One of three things. The second email is going to say one of three things. The lead is in conversation. And by in conversation, just meaning they were able to connect to a good phone number. That's the first thing. The second thing it might say is they're not in conversation because it was a landline. So it'll tell you if it was a landline. So now you know I got a phone number. I'm going to call it. It's a landline, or it's going to say it's a bad phone number. So it'll let you know bad phone number, landline, or a good phone number. I think it's almost worth it just to know that. All right. Because sometimes you might call and you might think it's a bad phone number, but it's a landline. Now, what are my chances of getting a hold of somebody in a landline? I don't know. It's not as good as a cell phone, But hey, if it's some older person and they're at home all the time and they got their phone sitting there, who am I to chastise them for not having a cell phone that they use? So, anyways, but for sure, over 80% are good phone numbers in most areas. And with the account I was showing you, it's over like 85 to 90% are good phone numbers. There are like days in a row where there's no bad phone numbers. And then all of a sudden, like a couple of days ago, it was like 3 bad phone numbers in one day. I was like, damn, I'm like, you think about percentages and the bell curve, and I'm like, man, we're on the edge of the bell curve today on this one. And then is this a trend? So I went back and I looked at for the last like week or so, and I was like, damn, man, it's like 2 or 3 days. There's no bad phone numbers, but today there's like a few. Yeah. Deb, how much are you spending for the week? Now, all right, and answer that. I'll address that. But my point was this. First email looks like this. Second email will let you know if you're in conversation or not. And then every time the lead responds, all right, the person responds, you're going to get another email and it will look, I don't have an example, but it's going to have it'll show in green what the response was. Oh, in fact, I do right here. So the email is going to look a lot like this, right? So you might get the third email would have been letting the agent know that the lead said they're just browsing. All right. Then the fourth email would have let the agent know that they said, I'm looking to buy in the next 3 to 6 months. And depending on how fast these two messages were, both of these may have been in the same email or not. But in every email that you get like this, you can actually tap. This is important. So please pay attention to this. If you're using ours or even another one, this is really important. So again, please pay attention. You can take over the conversation at any time. And now in this case here, the AI text qualified the lead, turned itself off, and let you know, hey, we've qualified this person. We're out of here. It's now time for you to get a hold of them. But there are times, and I've seen this, where I look at the conversation and I go, for example, they may say, where do you want? Sometimes the conversations can be all over the place. And I don't mean in a bad way, but sometimes, for example, the conversation, maybe they say they're just browsing and somehow the question becomes, what locations are you looking to buy in? And they may say Roseville, Folsom. And then the AI text may come back and say something like, that is great. I'll make sure to let our team members know. And what price range are you looking at? Then the AI text may come back and say, or I'm sorry, the lead may come back and say $400 to $600,000. And the AI text is going to say, great, I'll let a team member know. Are there any other features about the property that you would like in a property? Okay. So pay attention because this is where you want to pay attention. Now, you're going to know what's going on because you're going to get the email. And from the email, you can tap on the email and right on your phone, you're going to be able to see everything very easily because it'll you can log in, you click the link in the email and you can just see it right there. It's easy. It's very convenient. If the lead doesn't respond back to that last question, the AI text is going to leave it in conversation. When I look at that and I go, I got a good phone number because they're in conversation. They told me what location, they told me the price range. I'm going to come over here, whether it's on my phone or on my laptop or whatever, I'm going to turn that conversation off because I got their phone number. I know their location. I know the price point. I don't need any more information to call her up in this case, or this guy. I don't need any more information to call Daniel up. I've got enough information. Does that make sense? Because sometimes I've seen it where people will leave these conversations going and I don't call everybody up and like, hey, did you call that lead up? But just pay attention. Don't be an active participant in this. AI, we all know AI. AI is phenomenal, but there's issues right here or there, whether it's Chat GPT or Gemini or Claude, whatever it is. You get some wacky answers. I've not seen too many wacky answers, especially as of late. They're all pretty good. But I said that biggest hangup is going to be where because it wants to keep asking questions as long as that lead's going to respond. And then at a certain point, it's just going to qualify it. But I don't want 2 to 3 days going by. I would be so annoyed with myself if I was getting the emails, it's in the account, and then I realized, like, holy crap, right? That lead came in 3 days ago. And 3 days ago, it told me price point, it told me location, but I never followed up. And so now I'm calling them back. Hey, you talked to my AI, you talked to my assistant 3 days ago, or you talked to my AI assistant, Alex, a couple of days ago about a home. And it just sounds at that point like I'm chasing the tiger's tail. So my point is just pay attention. You're going to get an email. It's so easy. All right. All good. Lastly, let me just mention about email follow-up. Just takes a few seconds. In listings to leads, we get really good feedback on our email follow-up. If I can find it, goodness, right here. Follow-up right here. There's buyer lead follow-up. There's seller lead follow-up. We alternate on our follow-up. Linda says, I sent my leads to Lofty. Did I inadvertently turn off L2L smart plans? I'd like to use L2L AI, but still put my leads in Lofty. Yeah, Linda, totally. You can do that. Yeah. Just when you click on the follow-up, just make sure the email is all turned off. Make sure off. Okay. Make sure these are all turned off. And I'll just show you the seller lead follow-up. The buyer lead follow-up follows a very similar pattern. So imagine there's 80 emails. All right. The evens, 2, 4, 6, 8. 0 is the autoresponder. So there's always going to be an autoresponder. That would be email 0. So then you got your evens, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You got your odds, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. I can count. I know my numbers. The reason I mention that is because on the odds, typically, not exactly, but typically, we are sending a PDF guide. So something of value. All right. Hey, ready to get top dollar for your home. Download this free guide to increase your home value without breaking the bank. And then that's Zillow's estimate, but here we go. Another one. Here's a guide on the 5 tips or a first-time home sellers guide. All of these emails are editable, super easy. You can come in here and edit. You can change everything you want. Right, here's another guide. So every other email is a guide. What questions should you ask before selling a home? So we want to be leading with value. Now, if I scroll back up, and I'll just show you a couple here, the alternate emails, so the evens, so this was one. So the evens are typically super short. I have a buyer that hasn't found a home yet. Do you know if any of your neighbors are thinking about selling their homes? And some of these really short ones get some good responses. We put this one here just because it's funny, ironic. Your Zillow numbers estimate could be wrong. Turns out Zillow home values are off and yada. Just a great little blurb right there. Little free home value estimate. I have some buyers looking in the neighborhood. Let's connect. And the buyer lead follow-up is very similar, where the buyer lead follow-up is every other email is going to be a guide typically. And then the alternates are going to be something super short. There's a really good one in the buyer guides. I'll show you something here. So working from home, super short. And that gets I have seen 500 plus word responses to this where people are just like going on. All right. Down payment assistance, that's for a guide. And these will be your colors. So if you're a Keller Williams, they're like red and gray. If you're with Coldwell Banker, blue and gray. If you're with LPT, they're your colors. Epic, your colors, and so on. So these are just the colors she picked, but they flow with your brand. Neighborhood amenities, right? What neighborhood amenities are important to you? How close do you want to be at work? So you get the idea, right? Super short, because similar to remember when I talked about follow-up? And when I follow up with you, for example, on you wanted to list a price reduced homes for sale, I'm not coming at you with a 100-word essay and 20 questions. I'm coming at you very short, very succinct, and making it easy for you to get back to me, because once we're in conversation, then I can follow up and I've got a much more higher percentage of engagement with you. But if I lead off with just the whole litany of, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, and what do you want this? It becomes a little bit overwhelming for these people. And I don't want that. I just want to lead with value, and I want to ask short questions that are very easy to answer. I'll say, oh, after 37 days, that should be quicker. This one's a really funny email. Dog or cat? If you're looking for a new home and you have a dog or cat, let me know. While there's really no such thing as a cat park, they just do what they want. I can send you a list of the closest dog parks that that you may want to check out. Anyways, and then it ends with, and while cats may not need parks, I can help you with homes that have a sunny window spot. Very cute. All right, everybody, listen, thank you so much for joining us on this Friday afternoon, or yeah, it's no afternoon everywhere. Any questions before I let everybody go? So again, remember, good follow-up starts with the ad, if it's coming off of an ad. We got emails, we've got AI text, you got the phone number, because again, 80% across the board, right? And that doesn't mean every single account, every single person, but typically 80% of the ads are going to be good phone numbers. And Deb, I'll get your email, but I'll tell you what, I've seen this as well. Different properties have totally different buyer profiles. A listing, and so in our area, right? So we got a little bit more rural, a little bit more kind of suburban enclaves of Bay Area transplants. We got areas where it's more like homegrown people, but all of these different areas have different personalities and even homes within the areas. So I've seen where, for example, one listing may generate some really good leads, but then there's another listing and it's just the leads just aren't that great from that listing. And so sometimes you want to look at the listing that you're marketing. And that's why I tell people, hey, even if it's your listing, obviously you got to market it to a degree, and that includes some paid ads for your listing. But when you're looking for like good lead gen, you might want to borrow somebody else's listing to market and see if that doesn't generate some better leads for you. No, Mohammed, I don't really go over retargeting here, but dude, every ad that you do, I'll just mention it. So every ad, whether it's a listing, a landing page, whatever. So for example, Facebook ad, I'll do a landing page. We'll do free home values, 95630. I like to do a lead ad on free home values. And you'll see it's always in the work area right there. Retarget current leads. All right. And then now this account is not connected to a Facebook business manager, but if you were, or if you had custom audiences, then you could select your custom audiences right there as well. Okay. So yeah, in every work area, especially for the seller leads, you're going to see the ability to retarget and do a custom audience. All right. Am I able to send personalized video responses? Yeah, not through listings to leads. You would want to do it with, like, you got BombBomb, right? There's a few other programs. We're actually at some point, oh my God, I could kill my people. We've had the integration with BombBomb actually started and then it got stopped because of other things for over a year now. And it's, oh my God, it's killing me. But so anyways, is it better to leave the problem? No. Brenda, that's just completely up to you. If you don't have a CRM and you don't want to pay for one and get involved learning one, you can use listings to leads as a CRM. I don't want to get in here and then show off personal contact information, but I can make notes. I can set follow-up. I can set reminders. I can set actions all in the lead. Here, in fact, I can show you that screenshot. Hold on. This will give you, there we go. So I can add notes, add a task, add a meeting. I can email right from the lead detail page. And under more, and I should have mentioned this, I apologize. Under more, if you don't have another program, it's a little bit whatever, but under more, there's two options in particular I'm thinking of. Search phone number on Google, search name on Google, search email on Google. Sometimes, for example, search phone number on Google. It is not hard to find. Do they own a home? Where do they live? Because for in the Facebook lead form, you can't ask for address. So I cannot ask for your address via the Facebook lead form. I can only do name, email, phone number, and then those other custom questions that we mentioned. But Facebook will not allow you to ask for a property address from a lead. But if I do more right here, see, let me highlight it. If I click that more button, one of the options is search phone number on Google, search email on Google. Now, not all the time, but quite often, 30 to 40% of the time, maybe, I find that where they live. And then I can see they actually own the home. And if the phone number doesn't come up with that, sometimes the email does, or I find out where they work. That happened a little while ago with Yi. She did more phone number, found out that the lead worked it was actually so funny. She was a enterprise salesperson at Liberty Insurance, like one of these large insurance companies, not selling door to door, the business to business type thing. And saw her picture, got her profile from the company website and everything, found out where she lived, found her Instagram, right? Pretty much found out everything. And so when she called her, she was able to have a much better conversation because she knew just a little bit about her without being, oh, I looked you up on your company. What? No, don't. It's just, I'm able to relate a little bit differently if I know a little bit more about you. And phenomenal conversation. Ended up that this person had other friends that were also wanting to buy. And so, yeah. But so Brenda, my response to you is just going to be, if you've already got follow up in, for example, Lofty or whatever that you're comfortable with, just get them over to Lofty. And if you want to use our AI, you can. The AI will send it over to Lofty. So that shouldn't be a problem. All right. Does that help? Okay, awesome. And again, don't forget right here in your Listings to Leads account, click on announcements, 30-day challenge, the 4:00 call right here. And the 7 a.m. call weekdays, of course, is right here. There's the same link for all of them. And last thing before we go, I'm gonna give you two things real quickly. Under marketing calendar, resources, our YouTube channel. So all of our calls, all of our trainings go to YouTube. Facebook Mastermind. So if you're not in our mastermind group, you can get there. And then from there, you can request access to our expired group. Okay. And then the last thing, anybody here have a open house this weekend? Because if you do, and I just posted this in the mastermind group, under media library, type in 100. There's a little search field, right? 100. There is a 100 plus point marketing plan. There's a long, short, vertical, and download this, put it on your YouTube channel, download it, put it on your website, your blog. You could even play it right here and play this at the open house that you've got, yours or borrowed. And it could be on the homeowner's TV. We've had clients do that, right? They put it on their YouTube channel. On the homeowner's TV, they go to their YouTube channel, play this on the TV, play it on a laptop, play it on a tablet. And that way, all those neighbors that come through, all those buyers who also have a home to sell can see your video. I would also take a copy of my listing presentation, right? Even the general one from your account. And if you don't know what I mean, get into the mastermind group and ask. All right. But we want to make sure that every open house that we do is engaging for homeowners, engaging for the neighbors, engaging for the buyers that own a home, that they can see us as having a solution that a lot of other agents don't have. And Tina says I played that at my open house. Awesome. Yeah. Was it on the TV or a tablet or what? And Linda, yeah, you can do So Linda, yes, you can turn off the email and leave on AI text follow-up. So yes, the answer is yes, you can do that. So Tina, you're becoming quite the pro user, getting come list me calls, playing the video at the open house. All right. So Tina, now, oh, that was actually for Cindy. Okay. Yep. All right. Awesome. So, anyways, Tina, good luck on the come list me. I want to hear when you get the listing agreement signed. I'm so excited for you. And if you can, leave a comment, Tina. I tagged you, I believe. Let me get rid of this video. I tagged you in the mastermind group. So, yeah, if you want to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you under that post I made. And you know where it is, right? In our mastermind group. So, anyways, thank you everybody for joining us on the TV. Tina, next time, do me a favor, take a picture of that and post it in the mastermind group. All right. Or if you want to, send it to me and I'll edit out everything around the home and I can just make it so it shows the TV. But oh my God, that'd be so cool to see it. Yeah. Because actually, this is not my idea. It was another client of ours that was doing it. And he said it created a couple of really good conversations with people. And so he was like, yeah, people should really be doing that. And what he did is he downloaded it from Listings to Leads, put it on his YouTube channel, and then it was his listing. So he was able to ask the seller, can you have your TV turned on so that I can go to my YouTube channel? Because I have a video that I like to play so that any of the neighbors that come by, it helps me engage them. Because the more I can engage your neighbors, the more I can try to find out, do they know other people? Maybe they got friends or family or somebody that would love to buy a home in the neighborhood. But I can't do that if I don't engage them to begin with, because a lot of neighbors, they just like to walk through and kind of look and not really participate or engage with the agent. And so having this video on the TV is going to help me engage with more of them. Does that make sense for everybody? And so in the mastermind group, you're going to see, in fact, I got a picture right here, right there. Look at that. Oh, and Deb already hearted it. Deb, you were not paying attention. You're off on the mastermind group while I'm talking in the webinar. That's all right. No problem. But anyways, that's an example of that video playing on a TV set. All right, Troy, thank you. Tina, awesome. Everybody have a phenomenal weekend. Hopefully you'll get a little bit rest, but we'll see. Anybody wants to join us at 4 o'clock, you know where the registration link is. Would love to see you. We'll talk to you then.